Hello and welcome to The Stinger, a superfan's guide to Marvel, Star Wars, and much, much more in fandom. I am your co-host, Josh Gann, and joining me today, fresh off of a trip back to 100 years in the past into a time in Star Wars we've never seen before, it's Trent, Neely, and Joseph Snead. How we doing, guys?
It's so great to talk about a show that everyone agrees, has one solid stance of opinions on a quality of a thing, and so it's so fun.
It's fun to see those sweet High Republic Jedi robes.
Nah, we can't start there. We can't start with the robes, man. Come on.
I mean, I like them.
They're cool.
So.
I actually like I like the robes too.
So y'all like the robes?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into it later. I have thoughts. Thank you all for joining us today. If you couldn't tell already, we are here today to talk about the recent Disney Plus drop, Star Wars: The Acolyte, a new Disney Plus series entering a new chapter in the Star Wars timeline. As always, thank you all for listening or watching. You can subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on social media at The Stinger Pod. Guys, new era of Star Wars to talk about today. Super excited for it. It's been a little while since we got on. Last we were talking about X-Men. Today we are talking about the Acolyte. What was y'all's like? Were y'all excited for this show going into it? Because this is totally uncharted territory in Star Wars. 100 years before the Phantom Menace. This is something new.
Yeah. I mean, that was the main selling point. Like literally, like in all the trailers, they were like, "Hey, like we haven't done this yet." And so that had me curious, and the idea of it being like a murder mystery in Star Wars, like I'm all about that Knives Out, vibe these days.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea of getting like a flavor of that in Star Wars, I didn't expect that exactly, but a flavor or something like that. I was curious, but I was like, Mandalorian season 3, like not exactly my thing. Like Book of Boba Fett, not my. So I was like, still like, we'll see. But also Mandalorian season 1 and Andor. So it was like I went in with a pretty open mind, I think.
Yeah, I was excited as someone who's been reading the High Republic publishing stuff.
That's right.
I was really excited to see, and it's set, 100 or so years after when the books are, but there's a couple of characters that cross over, like Master Vernestra. But I was just cool to see the era, and I mark out for yellow lightsabers for some reason. So I was just really excited to see some yellow lightsabers.
It's kind of wild, being that the first yellow lightsaber we saw on screen was Rey in 2019 at the end.
Does this mean you're pro the end of Rise of Skywalker?
Good question.
Joseph?
Good question. Put you on the spot.
I'm pro the yellow lightsaber, and I wish she'd used it for the whole movie.
Okay.
You heard it here first. The redemptive piece of the Rise of Skywalker is the yellow lightsaber.
Well, the redemptive piece was like C-3PO and Lando and the yellow lightsaber. But I also used the yellow lightsaber in Jedi Fallen Order. So
okay.
I was kind of like, I'm vibing with the yellow. And whenever I get back to Disney World and build my own lightsaber, it's gonna be yellow. So
really interesting. I didn't know you rode so hard for the yellow.
I did not know like you were that ride or die for yellow.
I'm ride or die for yellow lightsabers.
Okay,
because
I don't know what it is. I just really like them.
Because it's like it would have been a great thing to have in the collection when we were growing up. Like me and my brother, we had the Dooku lightsaber, we had Maul's lightsaber, we had Mace Windu, we had all the unique ones, So like, I'm kind of bummed that we didn't get to have a yellow one in the mix too, because
I had a Bible Man sword, which is basically a yellow lightsaber.
Oh no! Okay, I don't like
That's
the
not
Bible
what we
Man
were going
sword.
for. Tragic.
It's got to be a lightsaber, but
that's hilarious. That's so funny. Trent pulls up to the lightsaber duel with his Bible Man sword, just like, all right, y'all about to get with the sword of truth.
Now I'm
I
really
think
like I think all my Bible Man merch is in the basement. Now I'm like I kind of want to go find it just to see if I can find it.
Please, can you
I
please
think
uncover that?
I think Trent just outlawed me with the Bible Man stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have the if you don't have the sword, man, I
Hey,
don't
did,
know.
did you grow up in a Christian household in the early 2000s if it wasn't Bible Man and Veggie Tales 24/7?
No.
I only watched VeggieTales. I didn't do Bible Man.
That's fair.
Oh no,
Bible Man's kind of
I was
scary.
exposed to Bible Man as well, and
We saw the previews for Bible Man and the VeggieTales DVDs and the VeggieTales VHS tapes.
just a crazy concept when you think about it. You know, I can't quite imagine
Yeah,
that being made today.
No.
we need the dark, gritty reboot of Bible Man.
Do we? Honestly,
Frank,
there's a creator
uh,
out there who's already like sketching it.
George Miller's Bible Man.
There we go.
Oh, that would be too much. That would be too much. Yeah, so yellow lightsaber. Now I'm only going to be able to think of Bible Man whenever I see it pop on the show. So thank you for that, Trent.
There we go. Glad I could leave an impact.
You ruined our boy Yord.
Yord. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What a guy.
So what are y'all's general reactions? What do you think of the Acolyte? Because people, like you said, Trent, counter to what you said, very toxic out there in Star Wars Twitter and everything right now. People have all kinds of extreme opinions about this show.
Yeah, I mean it's been an interesting thing for me watching it week to week because I feel like every time I watch an episode, I've been like, that was a little slow, that was a little boring, but I had an okay time. And then I hop on like Twitter for 3 seconds and it's like, new episode of The Acolyte destroys canon, like Disney is destroying its own brand. And I'm just like, I literally every time that like I see one of those things, I have to rewatch the episode to be like, what are they talking about? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that does kind of like break the canon, but for me it doesn't destroy things because it's sort of like, yeah, in 100 years, like knowledge fell out of like knowledge and stuff that may have happened 100 years ago people didn't talk about. Like it's sort of like in Lord of the Rings where the ring passes out of all knowledge for a while. Nobody knew Bilbo was holding on to that,
Yeah.
but it doesn't break canon that he has it. But I don't know. So yeah, I think there are flaws with this show. It's a mystery show where we kind of know the whole mystery from like episode 1. So I
Yeah.
was kind of bummed about that. That was my biggest like, oh, that wasn't what I was hoping for. But my boy Master Soul doing so much work for me as the new Qui-Gon Jinn. Just perfect.
An incredible character.
Lee Jung-jae learning English in 4 months just to play this part.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he literally did not speak fluent English but before he got this part, and then he learned it so he could film this. Like he's great. I think Amanda Stenberg, I think is how you say her name. I think she's doing a really good job with the dual roles, even though they're like are there cheesy soap opera parts of this? Sure. But also this is the thing that's like, hey, I'm your dad. Like the most soap opera plot twist ever. Like this is sort of part of the Star Wars thing for me, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, I will admit I did not watch the most recent episode till today. And
Okay.
and it was a tough beat just to be like, man, we're walking around the forest and not a whole lot is happening.
I'm so glad you said it. I feel so similarly. That was it was like we're heading to Mordor, but it's less fun.
Yeah.
Well,
like even Peter Jackson's like, we gotta have something happen here.
Right, exactly. Joseph, how about you?
I mean, I think it's fine. That's pretty much how I would describe it. Like, it's not as good as I see some people saying, and it's not near as bad as I see some people saying. For me, I'm like, I feel like Trent, where I'm like, it's a little slow, but I had a decent time watching it.
Yeah.
I guess I liked episode 4 more than the two of you. I was cool with them walking around the woods. But yeah, the show has pacing problems. And I was sitting in the middle of, or at the beginning of the first episode with, spoilers, Master Indara's murder. And the fight scene started, and I was like, wait a minute. Is she about to die?
Yeah. Yep.
And then they killed her, and I was like, oh, okay. That's different. And then the twins thing is it's a little weird.
Yep.
Can I tell you all what I thought it was going to be? Because I thought it was actually going to be weirder.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought because have you guys have both seen Harry Potter, like all the
Yeah.
Harry Potters, right?
Oh, actually, I've not watched all the movies.
Okay, but you've read the books though,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay, so I thought we were gonna get like Chamber of Secrets type stuff, where the Sith Lord was using Oshi like in her sleep, a la Ginny Weasley, but she didn't know that
Oh,
she was being used. I thought
so
that's what was.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
so
so she.
so Moon Knight.
Yes, basically,
Yes.
like Moon Knight meets Chamber of Secrets.
I could get down with that. But,
Trent, you might want to propose that idea.
It's like, guys, I can remake the series. I promise.
but yeah, I think looking back on it, episode 3 is the weakest one for me, and not because of like the toxic reasons, but I'm just like that one was
Yeah.
too much of like a jarring switch of a flashback for me.
Yeah,
It was weirdly placed. I agreed that it was a
Because
yeah.
the episode, I mean, that episode, I haven't like disliked any of the episodes yet, but that one to me, I was like, I didn't really need a full episode of that.
Yeah. Especially when we're not even sure that the events that happened in that episode are how the events actually took place in reality.
I mean, I think we're pretty sure that it's not, but we just don't know what reality is yet.
Right.
So I think what we saw really happened, but they're going to do the episode 8 thing of like people having different perspectives based off of the like the Rashomon
Oh yeah,
movie
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Because that was one of the influences of the movie. So I think we're just going to see it from different perspectives.
Interesting.
But what we saw is actually what happened. But
interesting. Okay.
like you were saying, Master Soul's great. I like Yord.
Your
The Yord Horde. The Yord Horde is alive and well.
He had his Ben Swallow moment, and I was kind of like, whatever. But he has a yellow lightsaber, so I'm down with him.
It's very simple. Yellow lightsaber. Joseph likes you as a character.
Yeah, but you know, as far as what I can say about the show now, I'm like, it's fine. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's just okay.
I feel very similarly where I haven't disliked any of the episodes, but there have been things about each episode that it's very balanced where there's things that make me feel like this is awesome. This is really cool and interesting. And I'm so glad Star Wars is leaning in a new direction. And then there's other things where I'm like, bro, what was going on? Like, why did we choose this as the method to make, X plot device happen? Like
right.
it was the walking in the woods in episode 4 for me, where I'm like, why is every 5 minutes a different pair of characters stopping to have a conversation while we're walking on the path? Like, couldn't we do this some other way? And like, could we tell the plot without you having to do all this expository dialogue? I don't know. It just
the one thing in the Walking in the Woods episode that I was like, "Are you guys serious?" is the little like flying beetle thing, where it was like, "Don't touch anything," and she's like, "I'm gonna touch it."
I'm gonna touch it. Yes.
She's like, I'm really gonna touch it.
I actually like the Beatles though. I'm not gonna lie.
That's cool.
It was like,
Yeah,
hey,
I mean, they looked cool, but
that's some world building here that hasn't really there in other parts of the show.
Then Master Soul was like, "I got it," and it just flies through the lightsaber.
I know
Yeah.
that was kind of dope though. I'm not gonna lie.
And
Master
I
Soul-
mean, they explained it. He was like, "They're attracted to the light," and I was like,
Yeah, it's like the end of Wreck-It Ralph.
It's that little bug in what was it, Monsters Inc., where it's like, oh no, Bug's Life, when they're at the little trailer, like, I can't help it, it's so beautiful. But yeah, I could have gone without the little bug things.
Yeah,
when they were walking in the woods.
I feel like this show is because Haley was asking me about it because she sees me watching it, and I'm like explaining to her, I'm like, look, the fans are getting real toxic about this, and I don't know how to feel. And I'm like, I feel like the show does. I'm very intrigued by the what of the show in terms of this is we're analyzing the Jedi Order 100 years before the events that we know in the prequels, and how something that was so stable you could start to see cracks in it and see where there's corruption that seeds those cracks. The what of it is really cool. It's
Yeah.
the like how we're explaining all these things are happening
Mm-hmm.
that I'm really struggling with.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I feel with the show, because I think there's a lot of potential. I think like you mentioned, both of you mentioned already, the performances I'm really enjoying from everybody. I I just think that it feels a little underbaked in some ways,
Yeah.
in which, like, I think by the end of the show, I feel like I'll be able to look back and say, "Oh, this was really fun." And I think I would much rather, where Star Wars is at right now, them do something like the Acolyte that's in a whole new time period and is a genre. It's like I know it's technically not a mystery, but it's in the genre of mystery.
Sure.
So that is in and of itself new inside of Star Wars. I'd rather them do that than, honestly, like a Lando show or a show about a character that we've already spent time with, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think the weird thing with the show is that on the surface it's like you're saying, like when we thought the High Republic was in its best era, actually the Jedi were up to some pretty suspicious things. Like the problem that I think people are pointing out that we're seeing is like the prequel trilogy kind of already covered this. We as an audience were already aware that the Jedi were not ideal.
That's true.
And so I think and somebody, I saw like a Facebook post about this. It's like the problem with Star Wars is that, like, when you have, like, for example, like Solo, whatever your problems are with Solo, at least with that story you got this thing of, like, because they don't have powers, it's like a crime thing, it's a gangster space thing, and with Andor it's this political intrigue.
Yeah.
And it's like with the Jedi, because they're all so superpower, it just becomes about, like, who sucks more, the Sith or the Jedi, and that's kind of all they can do when Force users are at the forefront. And it's like, it's so much limits what you can do as a storytelling device, whereas an Andor or a Solo or something like that.
Yeah, and I think with that too, there is so I feel bad comparing it to Andor, but like I feel like there are some stories in Star Wars where the Jedi are focal and you get to really dive into the personal relationships within the Jedi Order. Like in the prequels, especially Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, the Anakin Obi-Wan relationship is really one of the most riveting things about the prequel movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's something like this where I am not super invested in many of the personal relationships in this show. Like,
Yeah.
I'm more interested in who's the Sith, this
Mm-hmm.
mysterious Sith Lord, and like what happened on this planet with the Witch Coven, and how did the Jedi cover up this mystery. And like, I'm not as invested in the Master Soul and Oshi relationship as I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I need to be. You know what I mean?
Well, and then it's like the show completely forgot that Yord has a Padawan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because Jecki is Soul's new Padawan, and Yord's Padawan that was interrogating Osha in the first episode is like gone somewhere.
I literally forgot that she existed
Yep.
until you just said that sentence. I was like, oh, right. That was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, she had a cool design, and then she's just like not there anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. Of like Yord could have almost been like a precursor to Anakin, of like a young hotshot Jedi with a chip on his shoulder that has a Padawan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been cool.
I completely agree. We've talked a lot about the things that maybe aren't working for us, you know, in totality, but like, what are some things where, as we look out to the second half of this series, what are things you're hoping to see, or things that they've succeeded at that give you hope for the second half of the season?
I mean, the action choreography, which was being hyped up a lot before it was released, it is cool, and it's genuinely different than original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and sequel trilogy. So like that actually is a success, full stop for me. I genuinely, and I don't know whether it's gonna work out to the good or bad yet. I was not expecting the May reversal we got in this most recent episode of her being like, I'm turning myself in.
Oh yeah, I see. Yep.
So like, if they, like, if she teams up with the group for the rest of the series, that could be really fun depending on how it's handled. Although I could also see her just getting upset at the end of the start of next week, and then that's not a thing. We'll see. But that was a genuine wrinkle that I was not expecting. So yeah, and then I'm curious about who the Sith is. I think we know, unless
Well,
they're doing
okay. So what do you think?
I think it is Manny Jaquito or
Yeah.
however you say his last name. I mean, they're unless we're saying that they could be doing a great red herring and that he is just stuck in the woods somewhere and like the Sith was following them to the planet to see what they would do. But I think not. I think it because he does that weird like vocal slip up where she asks him like what deal did you make with him and he says I didn't and then he says like we didn't. He like switches his verbal tenses and I'm like okay, I think you're saying that you're him.
Joseph, are you in agreement? Do you think it's I think it's Chimere?
Yes,
Is
thank
his
you.
character's name?
I think he's the Sith apprentice. He's not. I don't think he's the master.
Ooh.
Interesting.
And he's like training his acolyte, like a Saj Ventress or somebody, to maybe be like, hey, let's go take out the master.
So who do you have money on who the master is then?
I mean, at this time, it'd either be if they follow the old legend stuff, which they've kind of hinted at doing, it's either Darth Tenebris or Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis would be crazy. Oh my god.
I think at this point it probably is still Darth Tenebris, who's basically like Darth Cantina band member.
Cantina band member.
But I think he's the Sith Lord, but I don't even know if we're going to see him or if it's just going to be like hints and stuff for like a season 2 or something.
Yeah.
And we find out that Chimere or whatever his name is the apprentice.
I see. I just feel like the signs are there that Chimere is definitely involved in this in some way beyond just being because it's so weird. Like it, I feel like the show's making it a little too obvious that he is shady. Because why else would this apothecary owner just like go out of his way to help May get to her next kill? You know, I was thinking he's the Sith Lord because it felt like he was a little too invested in how May was going to kill Kinlaka. He's like, well, you got to do it without a weapon at some point, you know, and it felt a little bit like he knew that the promise was made to May that if she doesn't, she's going to get killed, and he's got a relationship with her, so if she doesn't go through with it, then he's going to be the one to have to kill her, and he doesn't want to do that because he clearly has humanity still left inside him. This is kind of my thought process there. Do we think that's him in that comes levitating in at the end of the episode that we just watched?
that is the Sith, right? Because we saw him on a rock thing, whatever, in episode 1. So we know it's the Sith. We just
that's
don't
true.
know.
Because I guess okay. That's a good point. I was thinking that could be him, but then there's still another master that we haven't seen yet. But
I mean, I guess it could be that the only person they've ever hinted to be the Sith though is that person in that Kylo Ren looking get up that we saw at the end of 4.
Yeah,
I've seen that described as Darth Smiley, so I'm going with that.
Darth Smiley, I like it. He does have a little grin going on. I will say the way he floated down from the top of the screen was that was sick.
That was cool. I was like, all right,
that was so cool. And then his force blast lifting up all the Jedi at the end of the episode. I'm like, I'm very hyped to see how episode 5 opens because I think we're in for a pretty sick lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
I would really like to see a lightsaber duel with a yellow lightsaber.
Although we did get robbed of a Wookiee lightsaber that was promised in the trailers.
Look, just go read the books. You'll learn about Buriaga, and he's great, and he's a Wookiee Jedi too.
Also, don't forget Gunji.
Yeah, Gunji.
What a guy.
What a guy indeed. Yeah, Joseph, anything for you where you're like, this is working for me? I can't wait to see what happens here.
I am intrigued onto why she has to go kill the 4 Jedi because they haven't really explained it yet.
Yeah.
Which I guess Soul is the last one now.
Yep.
So I'd like to see I said I didn't really vibe with episode 3, but I think it set up some interesting things of what we didn't see.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
So I'd like
agree.
to see that. The Jedi being a little sketch is working for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's, um, and them kind of being trying to play the politics of it. Like, we can't tell the Senate about this. We got to keep it internal. So I kind of like that stuff, and um, I'm interested to see why they feel that way because in the High Republic books, they're like homies with the Chancellor.
Oh,
Like, hey, what's up, Chancellor? How can we help? And the Chancellor's like, hey, my friends, can you help me do this? And they're like, yeah, we got you. So they're like pretty tight with the Republic government. So I'm interested to see like, which they may not explain it in the show, but like, why is there starting to be some distrust and political maneuvering from the Jedi?
I like how they really, I feel like they did set up this time period really well by it, the Jedi's existence in the world. To me, is still different than it was in the prequels because you have like each planet has their Jedi temple with their like
Mm-hmm.
essentially like their precinct of Jedi, and they are like
Yeah,
figures in the community.
yeah, and that was a thing, and that's been a thing in the High Republic too, where they have like Jedi outpost temples.
Yeah, yeah. I really like that they set that up that way. To me, that's a different level of power than think we've seen from the Jedi Order and anything else in Star Wars. For me, I would say Master Soul's participation in the Jedi Order is the most interesting thing to me because he does feel very Qui-Gon Jinn, where it's like he leads with emotion, and that's so anti the rest of the Jedi Order. Everyone's like, basically suppress your feelings and commune with the Force, and he's like, no, but I have these connections and relationships. Let that be the thing that guides me. I think especially that
Let him
he
cook.
let him cook. Exactly, Joseph. Let his emotions cook. The I really feel like I just completely now I can't unthink. You said like let him cook. I was thinking let his emotions cook, and now I'm only thinking about the inside out characters inside of Master Soul's brain. Like what are they saying? You know what I mean?
There we go. There we go. Pixar doing their work.
They really know how to do it well. But I'm really intrigued because he was a part of that whatever happened to the Witch Coven in episode 3. He was a part of that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
clearly he's the most like I feel like morally righteous character in the show, but yet at the same time, he still has participated in the covering up of that incident in some way. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that is going to haunt him later on in the series. And it'll be really interesting to see how he reckons with that being a different kind of Jedi than the other ones that we're seeing on screen right now. So
Maybe the truth of that coming out is where we get like a what they hinted at with Rey and Kylo Ren, like a flip flop, and like May is good and Osha turns bad when
yeah,
she finds
Ooh.
out the truth.
yeah.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
I
That'd be
I would really like to see that. Well, in some interviews that Leslie, do we know the director's last name?
Headland.
Headland. Yes.
yes.
Yep. Thank you. So in some interviews that she's done, Last Jedi was a very big influence for her, I think, in
As it should
creating the
be on
show.
everyone.
That's right. That's right. And so I really like that idea, Joseph. I would not be surprised at all if that's the direction we head with this.
And what I'd like to get with May, if they really turn her good, is for somebody to turn back good and not die and be able to like try and make amends for what they've done.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
can we get somebody that's like trying to redeem themselves instead of like the last minute redemption from Vader and Ben
Yes.
Solo?
Yes. I
Like, even if it's
completely
just
agree.
chilling in prison and helping the Jedi out with some information,
Yeah.
just like let her live and do some good stuff.
Yeah.
I could not agree with you more. One of the
Same.
most frustrating things in Star Wars lore is the half-baked redemption arc. So I would totally be down for that. I could see this turning into a multi-season show. I don't know about y'all.
We'll see. I mean, because like I know the premiere numbers had like the insane record for,
Yeah.
but obviously the fans have been saying things about it since.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I don't know what although all these people who are saying stuff are clearly still watching. So like Disney's,
Exactly.
I don't know what Disney's taking away from these analytics.
Well, were they watching in the first place? Is my question.
Sure.
What do you mean?
Like, were they watch? Did they even watch the show, or did they just like read about it and just put out their hate stuff?
Well, I think some people did, because I like one of my favorite like YouTube film guys, actually, like he doesn't usually do TV that often, but he's been so upset about the Acolyte, he's been like posting reviews after each episode and like scene by scene being like, this, I can't believe this happened, and not in a super toxic way. He's just like I find all of this dumb. Which, I mean, that's still kind of toxic, but it's not like the other toxic things on the internet.
No.
See, no. I feel like, so there's definitely the toxic stuff with the show. I think there's just people that the show is not going to work for.
Sure, like, and that's fine.
Because it's not their thing.
Yep.
But I feel like the people that are just like, no, this doesn't work for me, aren't really loud. They're just kind of like, oh, I'm just not going to watch this because I don't like it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The loud opinions to me are it's not even outrightly like misogynistic or racist. It's like almost like they were waiting for an opportunity to hate on another quote unquote woke TV show. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit like the show has actual flaws. Like we're here talking about it as people who like can say we enjoy things about it, not in a toxic way, just talking about how the show is made. There are flaws in the show. And I feel like because Star Wars has kind of been on a run where things haven't been hitting the same lately, it just allows for people to hate on things extra aggressively. Like they were waiting for the opportunity, and they can point to, well, no, it breaks lore. Well, no, it does this thing wrong. And like George Lucas is shaking his fist somewhere right now. And it's like
George Lucas isn't thinking about anything.
Exactly. I'm just like, there's a level of intensity to where it shouldn't piss you off this much, you know?
Right. It reminds me a lot, actually, of, now that you're saying this, of like the Marvels when I finally watched it on Disney Plus, where I was like, okay, is this movie like narratively like the most complex thing, character arcs, or I'm like, no. Is it like this travesty, like the worst thing Marvel has ever produced? Like, no. People really just like, they were like, Marvel was on the downswing.
Yep.
And people like already were kind of half on, half off on the on Captain Marvel as a property. And so like when they heard the sequel was kind of rough, they were like, oh, this is our time. And they were just coming in swinging.
Like, is the Marvels a stupid movie? Yeah, it's not that great, but there's some funny things about it.
Yep.
But like even the lore breaking stuff, I'm like, it's not really.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, how did all these Jedi see a Sith and then they don't know it's a Sith? And I'm like, well, Qui-Gon fought a Sith and everyone was like, nah, that's not a Sith.
Right. Exactly. Joseph, before we move on to our next piece of the podcast, I do have to ask. So every episode when we record, we get to, put our name into our recording platform. And Joseph is very creative with the names he chooses for each episode. Today, he popped in as Kiadi Mundi. So I have to ask, is that something that you noticed right away or that bothered you?
I didn't notice it right away. I thought it was another like same species Jedi. Mm-hmm. Then I heard it was like in the credits, it was like, that's Kiadi Mundi. And I was like, oh, okay. He lives a long time.
Right.
And that's all it was. And some people were like, this reference book from 10 years ago said he's born 30 years after the show. And I'm like, I don't care what a reference book says. If they want him to be there, like, oh no, they've retconned something. I hated when we found out about Darth Vader being Luke's father. These dang retcons don't make any sense. I mean, I didn't care. I was fine with it. And I was
thank you.
I was kind of, so if it was me, I'd be like, I wish it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But if it is him, I don't really care that much.
Right.
Exactly. Thank you. That
And they made him the weirdest thing was like, why is he pink? Because he looks. You know who he looks like? I just thought of this. He looks like from Guardians 2, Taserface.
He does.
Oh my
actually.
gosh, you're right. That's bad. Yeah.
But whatever. I don't care.
Thank you.
The Plo Koon looking Jedi they said was not Plo Koon. I'm like, okay, good. So not every Jedi
Was
that
there
we
for 100
saw.
years.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we got Yoda there. Master Vernestra is like 116 years old. We have Kiadi Mundi there, who looks to be more like a young. I mean, he's younger than he was in the prequels, but he appears to be, more of like a younger type of
Yeah.
Jedi that doesn't have as much experience.
I mean, Yoda was thinking about
But,
procreating around this time.
well, maybe, but
I'm sorry. I mean, we know it could be his son out there.
I think Yaddle was like 100 years old or so at this point, but
He saw the clock was ticking. You know.
This is the canon revision we need. We need to understand how the species repopulation, reproductive
It's an
functions
honest question. It's an honest question.
But the lore breaking stuff to me has not really been lore breaking.
Yep.
Even the twins or force babies things, I'm like, they haven't explained it all the way.
Well, because they're like
Maybe
they're being very cagey about what about when they find out like who the father is, like the one witch said that to the other one.
Yeah, they were like, what about when they find out like where they came from?
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, the Force has made a baby before,
Yep.
so
Yep. Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how that all comes to a head, but I had to get your thoughts because that was mind-boggling to me how upset people got. But
I literally because I get my similar thing with this whole show. I see it on Twitter first that they're like, this broke canon, and then I watch the episode and I'm like, okay, what happened?
Right.
Nothing got broken.
Yeah.
And then I have to read these tweets and
Yep.
be like,
I saw one thing. It was like, this isn't even the biggest canon breaking Kiadi Mundi thing, and it was two stills from Attack of the Clones, and in one he had a blue lightsaber, and in the other he had a green lightsaber.
oh no,
Tragic.
No.
How dare
Our
you?
guy was a blue guy
didn't line
through
up.
and through.
And there was like an explanation in the old legend stuff that was like, oh, his lightsaber could change color based on how he's using the Force or something. And I'm thinking, it's just a missed shot. Just it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Overworked VFX artist is all it was.
See, that's why I'm kind of sad that Gene's guy isn't in the Mandalorian anymore.
I know. We
that's
gotta
a
leave these
legend.
mistakes in.
A legend.
Like, that's kind of hilarious.
That's what happens.
Like it's incredible that canon of Star Wars was changed because Samuel L. Jackson wanted a purple lightsaber. So then they had to invent reasons that a Jedi could have a purple one.
Yeah, and now we have yellow ones. We have
orange
ones.
in the games. Yeah.
We have white lightsabers now.
I'm about to say we have like the clearish, like the white one. Yeah.
Yeah. White's my favorite. I think it's just so cool. Don't take that out of context. All right. We're going
this is the internet, Josh. You're done for.
It's all over, Josh.
It's really all over. We're gonna have a fun little draft.
Yeah.
So we have a fun draft segment today. There's a new game taking the streets by storm. It's called Star Wars Unlimited. Joseph, do you care to give like a 2-minute synopsis of what Star Wars Unlimited is? Because you put me and Trent onto it. You said it's really fun, and it's so fun that we thought we'd incorporate it into our episode today.
Yeah, so it's a trading card game. It's a deck building game, and you've got your choice of leaders that you want in different aspects to create your decks. You go play against people, and you can build thematic decks, villain decks, hero decks. Of just different characters you want to play with, Darth Vader, the Emperor, Luke Skywalker, Jyn Erso, Director Krennic, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, Han Solo, a bunch of characters right now, and it's kind of being updated every few months. So the game started in March. The next set that comes out is in July. It's the Shadows of the Galaxy. So they're adding in a lot of bounty hunters, underworld type of stuff, crime lords. And then the third set will probably come out around November or so. It's called Twilight of the Republic. Don't really know much about it yet, but it appears to be something with the Jedi and the Clone Wars. But yeah, super fun game. Seems to have a pretty good community growing, and it's just a fun Star Wars game.
It sounds awesome. Like it really sounds like a blast. I definitely I could see myself getting into something like this.
Me too.
I'm a big board games guy, so I'm not quite as much trading cards, but I think I would. I mean, Star Wars, why not? So based off of the mechanics of the game, as Joseph was explaining, we decided to put a little Star Wars Unlimited draft together today, where we would essentially pick what each of us would want as our squad to go against each other in a Star Wars Unlimited duel. So we'll each be picking a character as our leader to lead our battle efforts. We'll each be picking some sort of ground unit, whether that be a character, whether that be a vehicle of some type, maybe some kind of like machinery weapon, anything that was ground specific. We would be drafting a single spacecraft of some kind. We'll be drafting a base that we are protecting, that the others are attacking of any location really in Star Wars. And then also an upgrade, which is essentially going to be like a wild card option for us. That is any kind of tech, any kind of weapon, maybe in a I'm not even gonna utter other possibilities because I don't want to give y'all any crazy ideas. But an upgrade category where we can throw something into the mix with our group. So added wrinkle: if you draft a hero leader, all of the rest of your picks, they have to fall under that hero category. We're talking like ground and space and upgrade. If you draft a villain leader, then everything else has to fall under some kind of villainous pick for those other categories that we've seen in Star Wars. So
now there is another wrinkle that I did forget to tell you.
Oh.
And we'll use Darth Vader as an example.
Okay.
So if I pick Darth Vader as my hero, that's off the board, for as my leader, that's off the board as leaders. Darth Vader can also be a unit, though. So he can be both a leader and a unit. Yeah, and it's a different card.
Interesting. So
the Darth Vader leader in the game is an aggression player, so he's good for attack. The Darth Vader unit is a command unit, and so he's better at kind of directing how the flow of the board goes.
Huh.
So you can use, I mean, if you want to, I don't know. I don't really think you would, but if you pick Darth Vader, for instance, you could use him as a leader and then pick Darth Vader as a unit. It's possible. And the Darth Vader unit...
Could someone else pick, if you picked him as a leader, could someone else pick him as a ground unit? That's my question.
Yeah.
Are we like, okay. All right. Yep. Good to know. Good to know. So there could be duplicates here. All right. I like it.
Yep. You can duplicate yourself. So
Okay.
So like if you want to be the Emperor, you can have the Emperor leader and the Emperor unit. Those exist.
Listen, things could get crazy. Here. All right, we're going to decide our draft order. Joseph, you have our draft order simulator up and ready to go. Why don't you spin that wheel, see who's going first?
Okay, we are spinning, and it is me.
Okay. Wow. Oh, man. We should be screen sharing right now. I don't know if I trust this guy over here.
It's me.
It's about time you
Uh,
got to pick first, Joseph. I'm
I'm
so
about to
happy
say.
for you.
I know.
All right,
All right,
let's see who's going second.
let's see who's coming up, and it is Trent.
All right, all right. That means I get to go last. I love where I'm positioned right now. I love being at the tail end of the snake. I'm gonna say pick in any category you want to. We're not going, leader first. You could go wherever you want first. So,
Okay.
Joseph, let's open the floodgates. You get to pick first. Who you taking?
All right, I'm going to pick a leader that is not in the game yet. He is in the game as a unit, but he does not have a leader yet.
Okay.
I'm going to pick Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like this. Very, very proven leader. General during the Clone Wars. Really the inspirational force behind our original trilogy, Big Three, Han, Leia, and Luke. He was the coach. He was the JJ Redick, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
What I like the pick. I like the pick a lot. Trent, that puts you on the board. Where are you
All right.
going?
All right, I'm gonna go ground, and you want a guy who's willing to get down and dirty and can get a lot of things done. So I'm gonna go with our boy Crosshair from the Bad Batch for a ground unit.
First pick, Crosshair. I did not see that one coming. Okay,
Crosshair,
this is an inspired pick.
Crosshair is a unit in set 2.
Ooh,
Oh, that's fun.
I don't remember what he does because there's 262 cards.
This is so interesting. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to go last because I wanted to base my picks off of what you two were gonna do. And so I feel good. I feel good about my first pick. In the leader category, I am going Qui-Gon Jinn.
ooh, great pick.
Master Soul has really made me remember how great Qui-Gon Jinn was. I just feel like he could really big brother Joseph's leader with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He knows what's in his bag of tricks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to go Qui-Gon right here as my leader. And then next, I'm actually going to go base because I want to make it impossible. I want to make it as high stakes as possible for y'all to attack my team. That's why, as my base, I'm picking Mustafar. I want you to potentially burn from trying to attack me. You never know when that volcano is going to erupt. You know what I mean? And it's very, look what happened to Anakin. So I really, home court advantage still means something to me. So I want Mustafar here.
Hey, in the words of Jimmy Buffett, I don't know where I'm going to go when the volcano blow.
That's right.
Amen. All right, Trent, who you going with your second pick?
I am gonna go ahead and take a base, and I'm gonna take Echo base.
Ooh,
Because all that snow aesthetic, and also just good contrast for the enemies. Just a blanket of snow, and then you know where everybody's at. And it's gotta go in those snow trenches and fight it out. So yeah, Echo base.
and I do feel like Crosshair. He's gonna blend in well to Echo base. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of open space to snipe down whoever.
Yep.
All right, Joseph, you get 2 in a row. Where are you going?
Let's see. I think I'm going to take my ground unit. My leader's Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's a ground unit. We're going with your boy Anakin Skywalker.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a little terrifying.
And then I have space unit and upgrade left.
You have space
unit, base,
and upgrade. Yep.
Let's see. We'll go space unit, and we'll take, because you can go cross eras. We're gonna take the Millennium Falcon.
Ooh, man. God, Joseph, you're going classic, my man. Like this is about as classic as it gets. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and the Millennium Falcon. I can't hate on it. I mean, that's incredibly. That's just a factually a solid roster right there. Trent, you're up next, sir.
I'm gonna take for my space the Razor Crest R.I.P. the Razor Crest.
Ooh.
But yeah, good ship. Got pretty good maneuverability. Got some good weapons, and it's got some nice living quarters if people need to take some rest and have some medical attention. So it's a good all around ship for me.
Razor Crest is a set 2 card.
The Razor Crest, I do have to ask though, Trent. It got blown to smithereens pretty quick. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're good. We're good. It's all in the hands of the pilot.
Are you gonna bring Queel in next? Is Queel gonna be on your team to help rebuild and restore the Razor Crest?
Yeah, he's gonna be in the fifth wave.
Yeah.
And the Razor Crest getting destroyed, it did get sniped by like a mini Star Destroyer when it was landed. So it's not like it got blown up in like a space battle.
Exactly. So we're good.
Exactly.
We're good.
All right. Queel is a card in set 2.
I love that he's a card. That's incredible.
Queel's great.
I forgot. Queel. Like I was thinking about Mandalorian season 1 the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how good of a character he was. Like so, just like instantly, you love this guy. The I have spoken. Like oh my gosh, I miss Queel. All right, for my ground unit, again, I'm going in pure defense mode now. I'm trying to protect myself from the other two teams I'm fighting against. That's why under ground unit I'm picking Padme, because what's Anakin gonna do when he runs into Padme on Mustafar? You know what I'm saying? Like I know I'm playing mind games here, and she's good with the blaster too.
Well, we do know what he's gonna do because we saw that happen on Mustafar. To be fair,
that's facts. Trent's spitting right here.
But he gets sliced up at the end. So, you know what I mean? I know I'm trying to get him.
Oh, you're playing the long game.
Exactly. Here. Exactly. And Padme's good with the blaster. We saw her in Attack the Clones. For space, I just, personal favorite of mine. I gotta go with the N1, the Naboo Star Cruiser. Or Starfighter. Doc, I just love that thing so much. When they brought it back in the Book of Boba Fett, I was ecstatic. That was just one of the coolest things watching it, speed run Beggar's Canyon. I freaking loved these ships as a kid. It was definitely, I had the yellow Naboo Starfighter, just as an action figure. And man, I loved playing with that thing. It was so fun. So I got the N1 on my side. Joseph, we're going to turn back to you. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Trent.
No,
my bad.
It's me, right?
Yeah, it's Trent. My bad. my bad.
So I have upgrade and leader left, correct?
Yeah, this is interesting strategy, leaving your leader so late in the game.
Tell you what, let's fix that. we got some interesting stuff going on. Got a different ship, crosshair. We got snow. That's a lot of disparate elements. You got to turn into a coherent vision. And I think the leader who can best do that is a Harrison Dula. She was dealing with all sorts of misfits all the time, and different people with different strategies and strengths. I think Hera's going to knock it out, and she can pilot the Razor Crest. So,
Trent,
Hera's a leader in set 1.
I saw that when I was looking at the website. She was my second pick as leader, Trent. So you got her anyway. Excellent choice. Absolutely, and she would absolutely crush it, behind the Razor Crest. That's for sure. Joseph, you get to round out your last 2 picks. You have base and upgrade still available.
Base, I'm going to take one that we saw this year. Taking it, it's going to be very difficult. We're going Tantus base.
Is this from Bad Batch?
This is Bad Batch, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Tantus base. What is Tantus base? Can you
wait,
describe it to me? I haven't finished.
Have you finished the Bad Batch?
No.
Oh man, it's basically like
it's in a jungle, kind of.
It's in a jungle with a bunch of like death creatures, and it's guarded by like tons
Space
of
hyenas.
Yeah, tons of commandos.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Now that is that's a cool base. I gotta go watch this finish Bad Batch, because that's different. That's different for Star Wars, I feel like. I like that.
Yeah, it's tough to get into Tantus base. You might need a little bit of inside help.
Okay.
Oh man, I got the hiccups.
Oh, you good?
And then for upgrade, it's a little different from how upgrades work, but I'm going to take one of the hardest looks Obi-Wan ever displayed on screen. I'm gonna do that red Mandalorian armor that he wears in the Clone
Oh,
Wars.
That's a
oh
good one.
yes. That stuff is that that stuff is looks great on cartoon Obi-Wan for sure. Like without a doubt, and you get some Mandalorian armor. I mean, who's gonna pierce that Beskar? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right, Trent.
All right, close it out with my upgrade here. I'm going to go with, I think I am reading this and pronouncing it correctly from what I looked at the website, the Vambrace grapple shot, which is that cool thing the Mandalorians have that like shoots the little zip line wire thing hook
Oh,
that they can
okay.
use for like climbing or for hooking enemies. Crosshair, I
Mm-hmm.
think, would really appreciate that. Hera probably would be whipping fools around with that. So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so upgrade. Can I pick a vehicle here?
No.
Dang it. Okay.
You could pick an upgrade to a vehicle like a super hyperdrive or something,
Yeah, no, that's not what I was really looking for here.
or like
Okay.
an ion cannon.
How about like midichlorians? Can I? No, I'm just kidding.
Actually,
I
based off of
mean,
episode 9 and the Bad Batch a little bit,
Oh,
couldn't he? Couldn't he if he wanted to?
I could see how you could do that. Of if you equip the midichlorians, your unit gains force aspect.
okay.
I'd accept it.
All
I'd
right.
accept it.
I'm for my upgrade. I am drafting midichlorians, and
There you go.
I'm gonna give Padme a little shot, a little injection before the game, and be like, all right. So next time when Anakin tries to, lull you out with the Force, you got your M count up. Like, let's go. So she's gonna sense that. Listen, we knew. I mean, Padme birthed Luke and Leia. She has to, be Force sensitive. She just didn't get around to it in her days. You know what I mean? Maybe if we boost her M count a little bit, she becomes aware and is a real force to be reckoned with. No pun intended.
Intend that pun.
Yeah, so I'm gonna draft midichlorians. I don't know if there's like a specific number I need. I don't know how midichlorians are purchased out there in the galaxy. Like, do I get like a kilo of midichlorians? I don't understand.
Well, the gathering method is a bit intense. Again, go watch Bad Batch.
Oh, this is y'all are really talking about something here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like this is actually like this is a canon thing now.
Oh gosh, I'm
it's
nervous
kinda
to find out.
Well, it's not kind of unethical. It's pretty unethical.
I'm really nervous to find out how they do this now. Oh my gosh, I'm
Trent,
stressed because I'm like, it's the Bad Batch. They
So-
shouldn't be doing this.
So, like, you kind of knew what they were doing, and then when you find out what's happening, I was like, oh, okay, that's where they're going with that.
I was like, imagine if this was on TV and it was like 9 a.m. on a Saturday, and this is what we were dealing with. It was like, it's like, nah.
Like, Mommy, what's happening? Okay.
I'm alarmed, to say the least. I'm very alarmed.
You should be.
They open those doors to the vault, and you're like, that's
a thing.
That's not what I thought was going to be in there.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, I guess I have some homework to do to find out how this all works in Bad Batch Season 3, but that's going to wrap up our draft. So I'm going to run through each of the rosters real quick. So, Joseph, your Star Wars Ultimate roster is, your leader is Obi-Wan Kenobi, your ground unit is Anakin Skywalker, your spacecraft is the Millennium Falcon, your base is Tantus base, and your upgrade is the red Mandalorian armor that Obi-Wan wears in the Clone Wars. He's going to be dripped out. Trent, your Star Wars Ultimate Squad is Harrison Dula as your leader, Crosshair as your ground unit, the Razor Crest as your spacecraft, Echo Base as your base, and don't know how to say it, but the grapple shock tool that Mandalorians use.
Mm-hmm.
And then my Star Wars Ultimate Squad is Qui-Gon Jinn as my leader, Padme as my ground unit, the N1 Naboo Starfighter as my spacecraft, Mustafar as my base, and midichlorians as my upgrade. There you go. That's gonna do it. That's our draft. How do you feel? How's everybody feeling about their squad?
I'm feeling like I got a good creative mix in here, but if I'm being honest, you guys are just gonna like nuke all my poor non-force powered people with their grappling hooks, and Crosshair's gonna snipe a few people though.
That's true.
He's not gonna go down lightly.
I'm not gonna lie. I think if you put Anakin in the Millennium Falcon, that's a pretty good team.
That's
scary.
That's pretty outstanding.
I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty scary.
I think Anakin in the Falcon beats Hera in the Razor Crest. I'm not.
If they ever make Star Wars What If, they have to put Anakin in the Falcon.
Honestly, yes.
That has to be a thing.
He's gonna be like, I'm making the Kessel Run in 7 parsecs, guys.
I know Qui-Gon has a lot of experience with midichlorians, and he's very familiar with the M count. I do wonder if he'll have. I'm a little worried about his ethical concerns about what we are doing to Padme. He might want to interrupt that, but we have a job to do. We have a battle to win, Qui-Gon. So I just ask that you put your feelings aside right now. This was great. This is a great little fun. We'll each have to get into Star Wars Ultimate somewhere down the line. Maybe one day you'll see us, like, we'll be live streaming a match between the three of us.
There you go.
You can do so generally it's a 2-person game, but there is a 3 or 4-person alternate called Twin Suns.
Oh, okay.
You get two leaders in Twin Suns.
Oh shoot, okay.
But they both have to be either heroes
on the same
villains.
side. That's fair.
Yeah, you can't mix them.
That's fair. That's fair. That makes sense too. You probably wouldn't want to pair Obi-Wan with Darth Maul.
Well, I mean, based on how some of the game goes, if you pair Leia with Vader, that's like basically the other team's screwed because of their abilities.
Yeah, that's fair. You got to balance the game. Well, guys, this has been a blast. So fun podcasting with the two of you.
Yes, always a good time.
Always a great time. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you continue to watch The Acolyte, no matter where you fit on the spectrum of the show. We'll be back probably to wrap up our thoughts on it once the season is over. But please stay tuned. Please subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcast, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And stay tuned for new episodes to come soon. And thank you so much for listening.